Welcome. My name is Marsha Meskimmon, and I'm the director of the Institute of Advanced Studies. And it's my great pleasure to welcome you to this event for the current annual theme of the IAS, which is Breathe. Let me give you a little bit of an idea of the running order today and a little sort of understanding of what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to do a few intros, and then we're going to have 5 fabulous speakers who are our 5 international visiting fellows for this Breathe theme, who have been here already and started us off really brilliantly last night and carried on this morning with a fantastic set of presentations, and are going to talk together and across disciplines in the course of this afternoon. We are then going to have a brief break after those talks so that people can get some tea, coffee, and some little scones, which have arrived and are actually here on time, and they're outside in the lobby. But basically to give you a chance to have a quick refreshment. And then we're coming back when Professor Rebecca Hardy, who is Professor of Epidemiology and Medical Statistics from our School of Exercise and Health Sciences, but she's also the lead for health and well-being, and she will chair our speakers today for an open panel. And that will be an open forum for discussion. But as I understand it as well, there will be some opportunity then to also, break the formality of the convention and allow for some networking activity to occur before we finally finish off and leave this space around 5 o'clock. Okay, so without further ado, I want to basically, and I have this sort of great joy of bringing together and convening this Breathe event this afternoon. And I want to say 3 things about Breathe very briefly, and then I want to introduce the speakers. Our themes at the IAS, really, we ask for 3 things when people propose a theme. We ask that they can in some way connect to research across the whole of our university and demonstrate sort of the excellence and the breadth of that. Breathe does that with absolutely no question whatsoever, and has brought a range of colleagues from across our campuses together in a fantastic way. We ask that the theme has the possibility of bringing absolutely stellar international fellows to Loughborough. And yet again, and a great demonstration. We had a demonstration in November. We have a fantastic demonstration again in the room today. And we have another set of fellows who will be joining us in June for this theme. And again, absolutely, hands down, Breathe has been able to incite and bring unbelievably exciting research from around the world to us. And we are really joyous about that fact. But we also ask that our themes do something that is a kind of nebulous thing. It's a kind of quality of the theme, that we ask that somehow the idea excites interesting and kind of innovative ideas about how to imagine what the theme might bring. Now, Breathe was really one of the most exciting and dynamic themes we ever had put to us at the IAS, precisely because of this, because people said, oh, breathe. And then they sort of began to wonder and imagine what that might mean. Well, I breathe, my body breathes, and oh, well, actually, sort of, so does the forest. So might the river, so does the cosmos. Ah, well, now there are political issues around that. Who is allowed to breathe? Who gets the right to breathe? How do we enable and facilitate breath? What does it mean to think about a whole group of protesters holding signs that say, I can't breathe? What does that mean for us? What are the challenges that we face with that? How might we bring that together? And then, of course, we've spent this morning talking about, and what are the infrastructural issues? What are the political changes and challenges? And how might we operate in a global world in which we need to think about Breathe as being pivotal to everything that we do? Well, in all those ways, this theme and today's event will sort of begin to tease out yet again a series of those wonderful and actually cross-scale issues around this theme. And so it's my really great pleasure, and I'm going to introduce each speaker in turn now with a bit of detail, and then just simply ask them to come up when their name is called, if you like, so that we can then listen to 5 fantastic fellows who are going to bring a range of these things to life. And I'm very excited that having begun yesterday with a launch through with STEER, with Heather Adair-Rouhani, who has joined us as a kind of core member of the World Health Organization, working in headquarters in Geneva, leading the work on energy and health. And Heather opened yesterday with a really fantastic talk that she's going to in some way follow up. And there were so many questions, and we can't wait for a bit more of this conversation. But looking at the World Health Organization toolkit for maximizing health benefits from clean energy transitions, she opened on this kind of global frame. Then we look today with Malcolm and colleagues bringing AirBods to life and launching this fabulous project. And we've already heard just briefly, but again, we'll hear much more from Professor Bill Bonfleth, who is joining us as a professor in the Department of Architectural Engineering at Penn State University, but he is also a fellow of and has been leading in ASHRAE. And I am going to do the acronym because not everyone in the room will necessarily know the American Society of Heating, Refrigerating, and Air Conditioning Engineers. But interestingly and quite pivotally, although it's called the American Society, it has some 50,000 members from 130 countries. So we are again looking at something which is an international set of questions about how we think through potentially notions of air quality, what kinds of infrastructure we need, and critically a series of questions around climate change. And so we'll move that direction. But also we welcome three further fellows who are joining us. Professor Hannah Holscher, who is joining us from the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, where she's an associate professor of nutrition in the Department of Food Sciences and Human Nutrition. And Hannah's research focuses on human microbiomes. And tonight she's going to share some questions around the deep workings of our gut microbes, but also this kind of micro level. So we are going to move between these scales today. And I'm really thrilled that we're going to start with some discussions that actually bring us to the human body for a while and then allow us to expand out. And we are also welcoming Tim Mickleborough from Indiana University, whose research is on human exercise physiology, and in particular relations between the respiratory and cardiovascular systems in health and disease. And tonight he's going to be speaking to us about asthma-related issues for athletes. And again, perfect for setting up all the conversations that we would want to set up here at Loughborough to make this theme also very much our own. And finally, Professor Bill Scheel, who will be joining us. He was joining us from the University of British Columbia, where his work very much on the interaction and using some amazing technologies. We had a discussion about motion capture on the interaction between the human respiratory and cardiovascular systems. And again, and I happen to know this from an offline conversation, a person who never planned to work with humans, but is actually going to bring a wider human and non-human perspective, a mammalian perspective to this kind of discussion. But again, I'm really tremendously excited by introducing each of these people who will come to us and speak for about 15 minutes, and we will simply have all of those talks. If you have a dying and desperate question for anybody at the end of their talk, one moment, but if you could really hold them, have the break, take some refreshment, and we'll gather everybody together so we can have some of the cross conversations. So welcome to Breathe. And with that said, I'm going to just simply ask if Tim would come up, take my space.